Today we are going to discuss about the topic cold water fish culture. Cold water fishes are adapted to live between a temperature range of 10 degree to 20 degree centigrades, and the upland waters of high altitude in the mountain region and the low altitude in temperate region remain cooler, and the cold water fishes mainly flourish in these regions. Such water bodies comprising of hill streams, lakes, pools and reservoirs and abundantly found in Himalayan region and Deccan Plateau region of peninsular India. And these cold water are mainly formed by the snowfed melting by snow, and the springs as in north or by the rainwater in the Deccan Plateau region. In these conditions, we are only able to do the cold water fish culture because they require a temperature range of 15 to 20 or 10 to 20 degrees centigrade. Next is important cold water fishes. The cold water fishes are mainly classified into two: indigenous cold water fishes and exotic cold water fishes. In case of indigenous cold water fishes, the common species are tortor. It is commonly called as tor mahasir or tor bar. Second one is tor putitora. It is commonly known as golden or common Himalayan mahasir. Third one is tor mosal mahasir. Then tor kudri, Deccan or kudri mahasir. Then acrosohylas hexagonolopus. It is commonly known as chocolate or copper mahasir. These are the common indigenous cold water fishes, and from that the first three are the most commercially important cold water fishes. In case of exotic cold water fishes, brown trout are the common exotic cold water fishes found in the India. Next is cold water fish culture. For the culture of cold water fishes, we need seed for the or young ones for the culture process. For that, we are using 1 year or more than 1 year age group is commonly used for the culture purposes. During the culture period, we are providing the food as a diet consisting of local raw fish, slaughterhouse weight, and dry silkworm pupae. The most serious loss of growing in trout is due to the nutritional imbalance and also non-observance of physical proper prophylactic measures. As we are commonly using recirculatory aquaculture systems, in case of trout culture, there is a chance of occurrence of disease and also water quality problems may be occur. That is a main problem or culture defect in case of trout culture. Next is culture of trout. The culture of trout is mainly composed of 4 steps. First one spawning, second one incubation, third one rearing of fry into fingerlings, and fourth one rearing of fingerling to marketable trout. In the first step, that is spawning, is also known as breeding. For the natural breeding is occurred in case of most of the trouts, and we are collecting the seed from the natural habitat. In spite of, we are also able to induce the spawning with the help of artificial or stripping method. After stripping method, we are collecting the eggs and they are incubated at a proper temperature, and after that, once the young ones are coming out of the eggs, they are collected and transferred into the HAPAs for final conditioning. After conditioning process, we have taken the young ones into the culture ponds. First one is spawning. As earlier said, we are using artificial propagation method or stripping method for the in case of spawning. For this purpose, we are taking the sexually matured female in the hands, and by pressing the vent region, we can collect the eggs that ooze out from the vent region is collected into a dry pan. Once the eggs are almost completely collected, the female is removed and the male is in the same procedure. By pressing the vent region by slight pressure, the male will secrete or ooze out the milk, and they also collected in the dry pan, and this egg and milk is homogeneously mixed with the help of a feather. After that, we are mixing with the water, and that activate the sperm, and this process is known as hardening. The hardened eggs are then transported within 48 hours to the incubators. Once the hardening process is complete, it is necessary to transfer the hardened eggs into the incubators within 48 hours, otherwise it will not hatch. Next is incubation. Once the incubation or hatching process is necessary, we have to incubate the eggs of trout in a running water system within a temperature range of 12.5 degrees centigrade. For 14 days is the incubation period. Depending upon the temperature and conditioning of the brooders, the hatching time will be vary. There are different methods also used in case of hatching of eggs. We are using hatching jars and incubators for hatching the eggs. Next is rearing of fry. Once the hatching process is complete within 14 days, the young ones are collected and they are reared in concrete tanks of 2.5 into 1 into 0.7 centimeter, 0.7 meter size. They have equipped with the inlet and outlet facilities for the intake of water. Once the tank is filled with water, they will outflow to the outlet. Advanced fry are transferred into a rearing system where the fingerlings are grown into marketable trouts. There are different techniques or different medias are used for the culture of trout. First one, raceway culture systems, circular tanks, cages, drums, jars, and also natural ponds are also used for the culture of trouts. In case of rearing pond or culture pond, normal earthen ponds are used to culture the trouts. They are equipped with the inlet and outlet. The water from the rivers or springs are normally enter into the pond, and they get natural water body, natural food also. Once the through the outlet, once pond is almost filled to the outlet, the water is getting pumped out. In case of raceway culture system, raceways are large, narrow, rectangular tanks with inlet and outlet facility. There are two types of raceways, parallel raceways and series raceways. In all these raceways, the inlet is common and outlet is common. The first tank, the same water from the first tank is flow out from the last tank. In case of trout culture, we are using a raceway of 30 meter long, 3 meter wide and 1 meter depth. The water from the springs, rivers, etc. can be used as a water source. A water supply of 75 to 250 liter per second is the most appropriate water circulation level in case of trouts culture in raceways. Second one is circular tanks. In case of circular tank, we can use fiber or concrete tanks of 4 to 6 meter diameter and 1 meter deep. A water supply 4 liter per second is the mandatory in case of culturing trouts in circular tanks. Next is cages. Cages are rectangular frames with a mesh or netting. In case of cage culture, we are providing large stock density and we are providing good quality feed for the trout to attain marketable size within 6 months of culture period. And the cage culture is most commonly practiced in reservoirs when the within the Deccan Plateau region where the temperature is in between 15 to 20 degree centigrades. Next is drums. Drums may be plastic or steel with a 250 liter capacity are used for the trout culture. Here the outlet and inlet are setting in the drums and water from the pumped from the bottom side and flows out from the top side. A water flow of 25 liter per minute is maintained once in a month and water flow is increases to 50 liter per minute to clean the drum. Otherwise the waste materials will accumulate in the drum and it will cause chance of spreading more diseases. Then jars. The final culture method of culture is using jars. Trouts can be grown in marketable size in jars of 7 liter capacity. A water flow of between 2.5 liter per minute is maintained. Jars culture is possible because trouts are tolerant to crowding. In case of trout, we can use more stock density as they are tolerance for crowding, but it is risk because any chance of occurrence of disease, the entire stocking will be affected. So we have to take necessary steps to avoid the overcrowding and also to monitor any chance of risk. Thank you.